Welcome back to Thriving Loudly podcast. I'm your host, Trinice.
And I'm your host, Aisha.
Today's episode is going to be really fun and really real because we're talking about relationships, fitness, entrepreneurship, content creation, and what it actually looks like to build with your partner.
Yes, and we're joined today by Kurt and DeAnna, the couple behind CoupleyFit. Kurt and DeAnna are the co-founders of CoupleyFit, a benefit corporation on a mission to help couples and families build generational health through whole person wellness. As a husband and wife team, their work is grounded in both lived experiences and professional expertise. DeAnna, a certified nutrition and wellness consultant, transformation specialist, and Arizona State University alumna with a background in psychology, leads the vision and strategy behind CoupleyFit while actively mentoring the next generation of women leaders. Kurt, a Howard University alumnus, former All-American linebacker, and master's in education graduate, brings a powerful foundation of discipline, leadership, and real-world coaching. He also leads partnership development with the International Sports Sciences Association, helping expand the reach of wellness through strategic collaboration. Recognized as Forbes BLK members, South by Southwest Global Standouts, Walmart Black Health Heroes, and Phoenix Titans of industry, their influence extends far beyond fitness. So we are so excited to dive into this conversation with you guys today. A lot to talk about. So we're really excited.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yes. So they've built a brand around fitness, wellness, accountability, and partnership, while also navigating marriage, business, social media, and visibility as BIPOC creators in Arizona. And this episode is going to help a lot of people who are trying to figure out how to build a healthier lifestyle, grow a brand, and even build something with their significant other. That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. I was like, and we had a lot to, and I had to condense it a little bit because I was like, okay, because we are really going to dive into this conversation.
Yes.
And welcome to Thriving Loudly.
We're so happy to have you guys.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us. We are so excited to be on.
Yes. Okay. For people who may not know your story yet, let's start from the beginning. How did you two meet before CoupleyFit? And then congratulations, 10-year anniversary coming up.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. In October.
Whose version of the story do you want?
You want the truth? I love that. Whose? Because I have the truth for you.
So we met on New Year's Eve in the nightclub.
Oh, okay.
Red Revolver in Scottsdale.
Yes. Okay.
So taking it back, the club is not even open anymore. But I say that to say it was definitely great, but it wasn't like the kind of perfect fairy tale. Like we met on New Year's Eve. We like started dating right away. We didn't actually see each other for 5 months after we met. And part of it was because we were in a club. I followed up and texted her. She was like, "Who is this?" So I was like, "How many people did you give your number to last night?"
It wasn't even like that.
She said her phone broke.
Okay, it wasn't
you
even like
guys
that.
are like, dating stories. Like, is that? I don't know if I believe that. But basically, I saw her again on my birthday 5 months later. And I was like, man, you have to let me take you out on a date. Like, I'd love to. And I did a little social media stalking, which we'll talk socials. But I saw she graduated from ASU. And I'm seeing she's into fitness. Like, I'm just seeing more about her from like a kind of bird's eye view. And then we went on our first date at Dave & Buster's at Tempe Marketplace.
Yes.
And it was pretty much a hit after that.
Yeah. Honestly. Yeah.
What's your version?
He didn't go in depth into what happened.
It's the details of the New Year's Eve.
It's the details of it.
Basically, I was in the VIP and brought her past the red rope.
Oh my gosh. Y'all know that's not true. Y'all know that's not true.
Let me bring you up to the stage with us.
Oh my gosh. So I came from another table over to where he was. I was with, girls, we travel in packs. So she's like, come with me over. We end up going. He happens to be at the table. And my friend just leaves me. Literally just walks into the table and just leaves me.
That was my moment, y'all, by the way. That was my moment. She was by herself.
So one of my songs came on. I just started dancing by myself, enjoying my own company. And then I get a tap on the shoulder. And it was Kurt. But, you know, it's New Year's Eve. The drinks are flowing. I'm with my girls. We're having a great time. So afterwards, we exchanged numbers, but like all I could remember, I was just squeezing his biceps. I was like, "Oh, you're strong."
This is CoupleyFit before CoupleyFit.
Yes. And so, yeah, to his point, my phone broke on the way. You know those carts or the bicycle with the cart on the back? We had about 7 girls on the back.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone jump on in.
Yeah.
And we're driving. This is the BlackBerry days. So the BlackBerry falls. And so I had to go and get my phone the next day. And some guy named Kurt texted me. I'm like, Kurt?
She's like, she didn't know no brother's named Kurt.
I don't know. So I said, okay, hi. You know, and I'm talking to him for 2 weeks. Had no idea who he was.
Oh my goodness.
I had to say,
I trust myself.
No
It's one of
picture or
those things where
anything?
I
you know,
trusted
you had to
myself.
send her that
I was
side
like,
profile.
I know I'm not going to be talking.
Had to send her that profile pic from
The
Facebook.
photos were out
my
of control.
goodness.
You know how not everyone, maybe just Kurt, he had an album clearly of
These
just
are-
photos that he
these are
said.
Facebook profile.
Facebook.
pics.
Yeah. Okay.
These are new to
Back
these
in
are
the day
old to
when we
me.
used to do that.
New-
Yeah.
Old to me, new to her.
Yes. So sending me all these photos. And meanwhile, I was in school full time. I'm working full time. Like I really didn't have the time outside of that to even really be dating.
And she also didn't believe like what I initially had told her about, because I was more unique. I was still playing football, but I wasn't the typical athlete. I just graduated. I had almost a 3.8 GPA. I'm in my master's. So she's like, there's no way you like playing football. You got to be going to school. It just doesn't add up. Until she got a friend at Wells Fargo Fraud Department, did a deep dive on
Oh,
it.
y'all have a sleuth friends.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
I love that.
Crazy.
I love that too.
I did not ask
the
her.
whole
Promise you,
profile.
I did not ask her. She's just asking me questions. She's like, so what's his phone number? So where did he go to school? She just asked me random questions. I'm not realizing she's typing. She's going in on Google. She found his highlight reel. She found his transcripts. She found
goodness.
She said she
everything.
wouldn't have called me back if I was a scrub. I don't think.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I don't think so.
But when it came to
That's so
football,
funny.
because we both played sports and both of my parents are collegiate athletes, like I couldn't be with a scrub.
Our first date was at Dave and Buster's. So and she was talking trash. She's like trying to push me off the spot.
What?
So I was like, okay. I was like, okay.
Yes.
And, if I was half stepping, she would have known.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
sure.
No, and so the rest is kind of history.
I love
After that.
So
that was
good.
technically 12 years ago?
Yeah.
That was like 12 or 13 years ago, but we'll be married 10 years in October. I know.
That's a huge milestone.
I know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. We were just talking about it the other day. We were like, what have we been doing?
We can't believe it, but at the same time we can believe it as we look
'Cause
at like
life
the
be lifing.
experiences. Yeah, life do be life.
Well, that's a good sign. If you guys can't believe it and it came up so fast, that's a good sign.
Absolutely.
You guys are having fun.
Yes.
And people
We're
pull up
blessed. We're
on
honestly
us.
blessed.
We were just coming back from Mexico City and we were on the plane back, and the guy that was on the row across from us, he's like, man, y'all keep it going. Like we're newlyweds.
Keep the spark
the love
alive.
alive. And we're like, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But we appreciate that because, you don't want to let it like this idea that the relationship has to fall off or that like you get tired of each other. Like, I don't think that has to be the case.
No.
Well, especially because you guys work together too.
Yes.
You
Another
know,
big
and
element.
Yes.
It has to be something you're passionate about, I think.
Yes.
It does. And we started CoupleyFit 3 months after we were married.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Okay.
So what led to that?
Yeah.
So what was the idea? How did you guys like?
Take us back
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what kind of led up to it? What was your
Yeah.
guys' background? How did you guys even create CoupleyFit?
Yeah.
We want to know the backstory first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it happened very organically, honestly. What people were seeing this was back in 2016. So that's when you're talking about like the Lululemon is really popular. You're having it was a really big fitness craze that was happening. But for both of us, because we played sports in high school, he was a collegiate athlete.
Okay.
Both of my parents are collegiate athletes. We've always come from a health and wellness mindset. And so we would be working out together. I would be prepping his meals because he also at the time was still preparing for the NFL and just that whole journey that comes with that.
She's
and so
weighing, I'm talking about weighing
I'm
it
weighing
down to
his
the protein.
food out, like
the
how much
rice.
protein do you have? How much rice do you have? And then he, his family owns a business in Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. So he was also helping them out there as well. And people were just noticing that he was bringing in food and he's walking on his breaks and he's drinking all of this water. And they're seeing also our social media that we have together as well. And they're like, hey, do you guys do custom meal plans? Or like, can you guys help me get a little bit healthier? So you're like, okay, sure.
And this was post your workout, post all of it on social. We're just like at LA Fitness, just like getting after it. Like one up, one down, you go, I go.
And just again, you're just posting it on social.
And it didn't start that way because at first we were actually at separate gyms.
Okay.
Yes.
So like she was at Planet Fitness, I was at LA Fitness. Then we were like in the gym at the complex together. Then it was like we would go into the same gym and go separate directions.
Wow.
Like she's going to do her cardio, I would go run. And then it got to the point where we were like, all right, after cardio, we're like, we'll talk during cardio. Then we're going to like work out together, but modify the exercises. So it was really like an evolution versus this overnight, like you're my workout partner. We got this business.
Right.
It was like this build up together.
I love that.
I love that.
Yeah. And then we just had some family members that were like, hey, you guys work out together and you do all these things together on the health and wellness side. Why don't you start a business and do it together? So we were like, okay, I guess. I mean, that sounds good. So then we started getting some clients from the airport that were employees of the business. And we had our first consultation at that Starbucks downstairs in the baggage claim.
Yeah.
We charged like $75 and we just gave like a custom meal plan. And
Shout
I
out to
remember,
Maricela.
Shout out to Maricela. Within her first year, she lost 80 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
And that wasn't the goal.
That was not the
wasn't
goal.
about
Yeah.
weight loss.
That was not the goal. But then we started seeing, oh, she has 2 kids and they're hiking Camelback together. They're asking her, hey, mom, what's an avocado? And they're getting more curious about how do I eat healthier? What does that look like for me? And then also getting active. What does that look like for me as well? And so she lost those 80 pounds. And then from there, it really just took off. Honestly, we did some really incredible things on the corporate wellness side.
And I will say something else that was a really big that I don't want to leave out is we both had different journeys when it came to health and wellness. So you kind of asked about the previous story. So Dee's family, very fit, both parents collegiate athletes, very fit. She played volleyball, all of those things, all the way up to going to college. And so for me, though, growing up in the Midwest, I was in a household. You don't get up from the table till you clean your plate.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a young boy getting that full chicken breast fried,
Right.
fully fried.
Yeah.
No portion control.
No portion control. Oh, you want some more mac and cheese, baby?
Slap that
I'm
thing
like,
on there.
yes, ma'am. So I earned the nickname of Buddha by my family because I had this round belly and round face as a little boy. But you could imagine that nickname gets old quick till you realize you see Buddha and you're like, hold on. This is who they compare me to. Like, this ain't cute. This ain't Denzel. Like, you know,
Not Denzel.
this ain't Morris Chestnut. What's going on? So now I'm like, wait, I don't like this nickname and I want to be an athlete.
Yeah.
So I had this dream, but I really didn't know how to get there. So I went through the struggles that, again, vulnerable moments, but like I remember having this Slim Fast can in my lunch in high school. And again, you in Detroit, like that'll get you roasted at the lunch table. So I had to peel the seal off. They're like, what's that? I'm like, don't worry about it. That's my shake.
Chocolate shake.
Chocolate shake. You're trying to play it off and kind of like, but it was really a part of my journey, So I remember doing those things, going with my mom to Weight Watchers. I remember asking my mom to get me a personal trainer. And I always say like getting a personal trainer really changed my life because I was on this journey by myself trying to figure it out. Like I'm running, I'm trying to do these things. But high school sports really showed me like I was so far off from where I needed to be. And so I was like, yo, I really need help. So that was also an awakening where like I started off as the client and then became a coach, went on and excelled in sports and things like that.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah. That's a great story.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about the real part of all of this, working together while being married. And I'm curious about this too, because I'm also dating someone who is a social media influencer. And he's also in the fitness niche. So I kind of want to know what that relationship dynamic looks like. What is like, first off, what's the best part about building together?
There's so many positives to it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we just left speaking at Arizona State and we had a lot of students come up to us afterwards and they were like, it was so refreshing to hear you guys talk about the positives of partnership because they were hearing so many negatives of don't trust them, kind of do things on your own. But we really believe that for not only us as a married couple, but for two people, it's really about the accountability, the motivation, and ultimately the connection, right? When you're on your health and wellness journey, you want to be able to connect with somebody that understands where you are, your mindset, where you want to go, to be able to help you move forward. But it's been a journey for sure of just us being able to know and understand each other. And we did take a couple of tests. We always talk about this. Like we took a Gallup personality test and a few other things.
Colby Index.
To truly see how do we work individually, but more importantly, how do we work together? It was really interesting because we used to sit down at the table together. But then when we took the test, we realized, oh no, we need to be in separate rooms and then come back together and share with each other what's going on. We realized too that Kurt is very much day to day. It's task. It's what do I need to get done today? Whereas for me, I'm very much vision, long term. How can we take a strategy and build the next 10, 15 years so that we're moving towards a bigger goal? And so when we started realizing those things about each other, it made the fitness aspect a little bit easier when we got into the gym because I'm thinking about, okay, this is ultimately our goal, but you're going to make the day-to-day of what we're going to be doing that day. And that made it very easy for us to be able to work through the programs. And so it really just turned into something where the more that we learned about ourselves, the more we were able to come together and be able to mesh together in a way that worked for both of us. So now we're not butting heads, right? We're not conflicting on things. It's okay, I know and understand your day to day. So when I'm talking long vision, honey, you're not even with me. So
you're zoned out.
You're zoned out.
Just tell me what I need to do.
What do you need from me?
What do you need from me? But that also goes back to him in football too. Very day to day. We're getting ready for game day on Saturday at the time. On Saturday, we're working for that week where I'm thinking, okay, we're thinking next season, right? In the season after that, what's happening? So when we really, again, started to learn more about not only each other individually, but how we work together, it made things so much easier.
That's amazing. And I don't feel like it's talked about enough because I really relate to you guys because it's kind of the same way with me and my boyfriend. He's more day to day. He also was a college athlete, played basketball. And I feel like I'm more like long-term vision. I'm thinking about, what's next week? What is I'm a planner. He's more like in the moment, spontaneous in the moment. And so I feel like that is actually a really good tip for couples to take those types of personality tests to see, how each other, how both of you guys are, but also how you guys can work together. So I really love that. That's awesome.
I know. And it was interesting when we took, I believe it was a Gallup test, we both found out that we have 2 of the 5 traits in common, which were focus and relatable. And so with that being said, I'm like, okay, so we know that if we have a project, we are going to be hyper focused on it, which I don't know if that's ADHD, but that's a whole nother separate topic, but we're hyper focused on it. And then the other thing too is just realizing that the way that he works is not going to be the way that I work. And that's okay. Let's find the middle ground, the common piece. And that's what we're working on and what we're working towards.
I love that.
That's such a good tip.
You guys talked about the positives.
Yes.
Let's talk about the hardest part of it.
So I'll jump in right there, and I can say this for sure. I say the hardest part is the financial side. We talked about being minority business owners, being a husband and wife team. We didn't have, somebody give us $1 million to say, go start your business and we believe in you. Or hey, just go get this loan. You get the trust fund or whatever that may look like. No, it was like, hey, we've got an idea. We got passion. We're taking money from our day job and putting it over here to get the logo done and get trademarks and pay for the lawyer, all of these things. And then when we decided to jump kind of both feet into our business, it was a little bit sooner than we anticipated. Not a little bit. It was a lot of it sooner. Just because, again, I mentioned we were in a family business and there was coming a time to pivot because there were so many dynamics of us being married. We're in a family business. We're starting our own business, and just the pulls on all of those elements. So I said that to say, I just said the financial side because you're now both. It's one thing if one person is like, "Hey, I'm figuring it out. I'm waiting for opportunities." I'm But if it's both
But one
of y'all,
person still has a steady
Somebody
Freddy.
has still W2.
They got the steady Freddy.
Exactly.
You know, with the bennies. You always see the bennies, the benefits.
anytime you need, I think anybody that has had this experience, but when you know that rent is coming up and you don't necessarily have rent in your account, it's a different feeling.
It's a different feeling.
And then when people talk about the stressors, I know when they talk, it's a different feeling,
We've
right?
all been there,
We've all been there.
especially now.
Yeah, people been
The way
there.
these grocery bills are hitting.
Oh my goodness, gas prices. Girl.
I think
You have to really decide,
I've been posting
$5?
do I want to go?
I filled my tank yesterday. I think it was like
goodness.
$65.
They said gas is more than
Yeah.
$4 in every state in America.
crazy.
So people are asking the question of like, do I really need to go?
Do
Like, do I need to be? Do you need me to be there?
Do I, especially as influencers, right? Like when you're going to the influencer
I was like, when I get invited to stuff in Gilbert, I'm like, I don't know about that.
But that's
That's
what
a
people
little far.
But that's what people
Little
don't.
far.
That's what people don't
That's
talk
what
about
they don't
with the
talk about.
opportunities. And even what was hard, and this is something that people will be able to resonate with. But even back then, we had friends and family members that didn't understand that we were building a business and that we
Right.
had to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
So we're, people see now we're able to make more moves and do more things. But there were times where we couldn't go to friends and family members' birthday
Can't
party
even go.
because it's not only do we not have a gift. We
Honey,
don't
we
have
don't
money
have
for
the
gas.
gas.
We can't get there. Like
we can't get there.
and people are like, oh, how come you're not pulling? Oh, y'all being anti? Like, oh, y'all got a new business. Y'all not.
Like, it's like, no, honey.
No. And you don't
when
want
you're
to
an
like.
entrepreneur, you have to go and catch what you eat.
Yes.
And if it's
Yes.
and if it's something again where you're starting from scratch, you're starting a business idea
Yeah.
from scratch. The name is from scratch. Everything is from a napkin. You have to really put the time in. You have to build the business. You have to build the trust, the credibility. Then you start building the clientele.
Yeah.
And so when we were first married, we were 25 and 26. And so really those first few years up until we were 30, you're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
What does this look like?
Yeah.
How do I keep building the clientele? Is this fulfilling for me? Is this still my passion?
Yeah.
Making some pivots along the way. It's really knowing and understanding too that you have to make sure you're on the same page with your partner, because if
Yes.
not, that's when you're going to start growing separately.
And blaming each other, things
Blaming
like
each
that.
other.
Yeah.
This is why you should have stayed there. You should have done. And it doesn't, you're just going around in a circle. It doesn't make sense to do that. It's like, let's just continue to work on what we know best and rely on ourselves, because we're going to win at the end of the day. That's one thing we know point blank, but it is something, again, as a couple, you're talking about kind of the hard things too, is you have to make time for the date night. Period.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of couples we talk to that have become business partners, and that's it.
That's it.
They
It's
forget
just
about their
business.
marriage. They forget that they're spouses. They forget that this is a romantic relationship that you have to be pouring into.
Yeah.
And so we are adamant about having our date nights at least once a week. And if we happen to be traveling somewhere else, we'll pull away from a conference and just say, hey, let's just go have lunch in the lobby really fast.
Yeah.
Let's reconnect, sometimes decompress, right? But being able
love
to make
that.
sure we're connecting at the marriage level, because I always say this, if the business failed or if it just went away, we still have a marriage. And that's one of the only ways we've been able to make it to 10 years, is having that mindset of what is our priority? The priority is always our marriage. The business
That's
and the brand.
foundation.
Yeah.
The business and the brand will always be second. Always.
Yes.
That's so good.
I love that.
That's so good.
I can identify with that. I got into entrepreneurship when I was 24.
Wow.
I had my own skincare line. And so there were so much ups and downs with that. I mean, I was literally making my own skincare products.
Wow.
And I was doing that.
That's
with-
expensive.
Yeah, it was expensive. I was doing it with my ex-boyfriend, and he was a chemist. So him and I worked together on that to create it. But like you said, staying connected with it, that's really the key.
100%.
Because you don't want to just go into it as business partners and then you lose the spark.
Yes.
And now it's like, well, what are we doing?
Yes.
When everything is about business. So I can
100%.
definitely,
100%.
I can see that.
Yeah. No, we're very, very adamant about that. And we talk too a lot about who you are as an individual. So I'm asking him, hey, what are your goals for this year? Where can I help and support you? That's something we constantly say to each other, is how can I support you?
And I was gonna say, even our vision boards, like we do a vision board individually, and we do one together, and we do one for the business.
Yep.
It sounds like a lot, but it's all with like magazines, and words, different things. But like it allows us to see where you headed, where we headed, where's the business headed, without it being like. And if she's saying, Miami, and I'm putting Vegas, it's like, oh. Are we going two places, or are you going there? And we're like,
What's
and
going
let's get
on?
on the same page.
Yes.
I love
100%.
that. I love that.
That's
That's
awesome.
so good. Yeah. So also we want to talk about a little bit of like the social media aspect. Has social media ever created pressure in your relationship, you know, posting online? I know there's a lot of sometimes discourse online about people showing their partners or sharing their relationships.
Yes.
You know, what's your guys' take on that? And how have you kind of maybe overcame situations where maybe social media may have been maybe an issue?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'll give two things that come to mind. One,
Yeah.
there is pressure on social media, especially
Always.
once you build a following or you have a business. And for us, it wasn't that like, oh, we're influencers and we wanted to be influencers. We knew we had to create content for our business. Otherwise, people would know we existed.
Exactly.
Just like you said, right? You're going up against maybe Shea Moisture or some of these other big brands. You're like, I got to tell my brand story. I've got to get out here. How do I do that? Well, I got to get on social. We got to do these boot camps and have content. So that was one piece. But then you feel that pressure of like, man, well, we haven't posted. Well, oh man, it's this holiday or it's Valentine's Day. Do we need to throw something up? There's kind of like this, like social media, what the expectations are, even from your followers of like, well, man, if they didn't post anything today, like, well, what does that mean? Or things like that. So you can allow
people read into
people read into
everything
everything.
and think that they
They're
know.
silent. They haven't
Like,
posted in 2 weeks. What's going on?
And really, we literally are
mental health
just
break? I don't know.
we're literally in our pajamas with a blanket over us watching movies, and we're
Binge watching,
like,
just
nothing's noted to the story, no post,
Exactly.
and it's just like we're good. We're good right now.
Yes.
And so that's one. I think the other one, and this is not talked about enough, but I think on social media, especially being on business together, but also doing social media, is putting up some guardrails like any relationship.
100%.
So what does that mean?
Yeah.
For example, and this is something that we talk about early on, but like, I've got friends or people that I know that like will like any kind of post. They married or they in a relationship, but they like in content that may be like, swimsuit issue or whatever the case. I'm just saying, I'm not judging, right? But like,
We're borderline OF. Like,
What's going on here?
What's going on
you're like,
here?
dang, hold on, so and so. Why is Pastor so and so
Pastor.
why is he double tapping on this content?
Yeah.
So like,
I've seen it.
I've seen it. He's not lying.
Come on now, we keeping it real.
Yeah.
And so, but it's good when you have the conversation of like, hey, the expectation is not that, and it goes both ways. If she liking all the bodybuilders pics with their shirt off, oiled up after the workout, I'm like, hold on, who's this?
It's just inspiration.
Come on, inspiration. Where the ladies at? In the photo, right? So I think having those discussions made a difference, right? Because we level set expectations, and it goes for both. I'm not saying, hey, you can't like the guy with the 8-pack abs, and she like, oh, you can't like the lady that's posting her leg day workout routine, right? We're mindful of those things, but then also even going a step further, people got a lot of audacity. They're audacious.
A lot of audacity.
So being on social media, having a podcast, people will comment. I'll just give an example of like, we did a workout post, something about staring in the gym.
Yeah.
But like, we had people comment like, I love this. This is great. And people were commenting like, ain't nobody looking at him or ain't nobody looking at her or like things like that.
Yeah.
And so just balancing all of those elements of social media. Do you respond? Do you not? How are you handling if somebody sends you a DM? Are you ignoring? Are you sharing and showing like, hey, this is weird. Somebody just sent me that. So I just think those are the pieces that people don't talk about that we overly communicate on, because if I don't know what your expectation is, I'm just going to give another one. I do a lot of conferences and events. Y'all got him going. I do a lot of conferences and events. And something that she brought to my attention that I didn't realize, people will be like, oh, let's take a photo.
And again, this goes both ways though.
This goes both ways, but just something take a photo, and you do the photo, right? It's either arm around, arm on. Now she brought it to my attention of, hey, let me show you somebody of what this guy husband does. He has the arm off in the photo.
So the arms are
still
behind, but it's not touching. It's just like a little bit off.
I'm not touching you.
Right.
Okay.
So I saw that and I was just like, oh wow. Like it wasn't even something I thought about.
Yeah.
But I appreciated that she showed me that, because we went out to a dinner with a partner, a nice steakhouse, whole deal. I'm next to the CEO. He's got another colleague.
It wasn't funny, but it was funny.
I'm just going, they got the wine flowing, the whole deal. And I see this guy's got his hand on my wife's chair for like 30 minutes of the dinner. Arm on her chair. To the point where I didn't put my arm on the chair, like, hold on.
Right.
Like, who's who here?
The audacity.
The audacity.
I understand you leaning in to share some things, but put your arm down from around my wife's chair.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, like, those are are little things that if I didn't say anything and if she didn't know that I felt some type of way about that, or if I didn't say anything or she didn't, hey, make sure, you ain't got your arm around somebody or somebody doing a full frontal hugs. And it can just be, especially on social, one photo of you with your arm around somebody, people are like, are you with your wife or are you with...
Perception, I feel like it's everything, right? Like, especially online, because there will be even, times, I mean, in my experience where, people would be like, oh, it could just be anything from it. Like, I can just give like a broad example of like, oh, I saw your sister out and she was mean or something like, but maybe she just had her head down or like,
maybe it's my birthday. I was tired.
I saw so-and-so talk to someone or your brother.
And I'm feeling some type of way.
Exactly. I just bought groceries.
Or like, oh, I know your brother's in a relationship, but I saw him talking to this girl, but lo and behold, it's like a cousin.
People can't wait.
People can't wait.
I've had DMs like that. And I'm like, oh no, like I know that girl, it's like, but it's perception, right?
It is. And mind your business.
It is.
I saw your brother talking to someone else. I was like, is that even my business at the end of the day? But I was like, oh, I know her. That's, like.
Yes. And what I will say too, a little bit to that is, so when we first started dating again, that was 22, 23. And this is again, really when that Snapchat phase was happening where that was kind of like the main platform.
Yeah.
And so one thing that we talked about as our foundation that we've been discussing was, okay, let's talk about social media. If I get a DM, do you want to see it? If I'm getting these hard eyes on stories, do you want to see that? If I'm getting a Snapchat and it's, inappropriate, are these things that you want to see?
Unexpected, obviously. Like,
you get
someone random and you're like, what is this?
But then also, how do you want me to also show up on social media? Because, there can be, for women, right? We are constantly being judged for the smallest things, down from our hair down to what we're wearing. And so little things like even poses that you may not feel or maybe
keep it tasteful,
right? And those things. But we had those conversations very, very early on about this is my expectation. This is your expectation. I respect you and respect these boundaries. And so a lot of times, during the beginning phase, we would be showing each other DMs or showing each other, hey, I just want to let you know I got this weird thing happening. Like, I just want to make sure you know and you're aware. And so again, building it as a part of your foundation when you first start dating or talking to somebody, I think is critical.
I love that.
Those are some great tips.
Such great tips.
Yes. Has there ever been moments where content started affecting the relationship, like overall?
I don't think so.
No, I don't.
It sounds
think
like
so.
since you guys have been so transparent.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yes.
Setting those boundaries from the start.
I think that's so important for just couples in general, whether you have a influencer page or not. I think being open, being transparent, having those conversations early, because I feel like that's where a lot of people kind of fail and fall off. They're not open, right?
Yes.
And it's a lot easier.
Assumption.
And it's a lot easier to have that conversation early on when you're not lit, like when you really don't have no followers. Because it's different when you've got 100,000 followers or you've got all of these views and all of these things happening. You got brand deals or opportunities or people are, reaching out to collaborate and you're like, well, wait, I thought we were going to talk about those collabs before we X, Y. And you can just create your framework or your process.
Yeah. I love
100%. Yeah. So we haven't really had any issues.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But just people can be mean sometimes.
I hate that.
That shirt's too tight. I'm like, hold on.
I like it.
I ate good. I was eating good.
We're enjoying it.
We're having fun.
And they got no Abby in their photo, right?
No, but you know what?
Page is private. I'm
those
like,
ones.
Come on, I can't even throw back any, any
Exactly.
feedback.
Oh my gosh, I hate those ones. So funny.
Oh man. Do you guys ever feel like, I know we talked about this a little bit, but like the pressure to perform on social media? Like that you guys have to be just like a special avatar, or you guys have to be picture perfect, or are you guys more like raw, authentic?
I was going to add in, so I think it's evolved.
It definitely has evolved.
What I do, so my answer would be yes, it used to feel more that way because there was a wave where like if you wanted to be taken serious as a creator, every piece of content had to be like 4K, professionally done. Like there was kind of that wave of like, I only have to drop like model level quality content. Versus now you have the rise of TikTok, you have stories, you have all of these opportunities where people want to really see the authentic, and everything's AI now too. People are like, no, I want to see you bite and the cheese from the sandwich, kind of falls on the plate. Like people want to see the authentic behind the scenes. So I think it's actually shifted in our favor of where we would rather create something that's really authentic to us compared to like, oh, we've got to go into the studio. We've got to like prop up, get ready for the shot, and that has to be the content that goes out.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna add.
No, 100%. And to your point, it's been an evolution also of us as not only a couple, but individually as well. And how do we want to use our voice? How do we want to show up on social? And really being very hyper focused on that of these are my 5 pillars that I stand by, and that no matter what, I'll post about this. But how that kind of looks now has shifted and changed where the UGC is really taking off and people are really connecting more with you as a person rather than you as, somebody that is kind of held on a pedestal, right? Where it's like, I don't know if I'll ever meet this person, but I just love the content that they create. They seem like they're this person. But I feel like we've done a great job of merging who we actually are onto social media so that when you see it, you're like, oh, it makes sense when you see it in person.
I love that. I love that.
So I also feel like people don't talk enough about the financial side of building together. I know we talked a little bit about it, but how do you guys navigate finances as spouses and business partners?
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like for you guys?
That's evolved.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is a great question because people don't talk about this enough, and I'm gonna speak to the fellas out there where I think a lot of times there can be this idea, and I'm a little bit more old school and traditional from like family from the South, grew up in Michigan in the Midwest, where like I am a little bit more traditional, and it was like, no, like you're the head of the household, you manage the finances, right? But the reality is I'm very day to day, and I'm in the focus. So for me, my mindset will be like, I'm gonna go out and go get it.
Yeah.
So if I want, for example, if I want this, whatever, like I can go and enjoy that because I know I'm going to go out and
Close the deal.
I'm going to close the deal. I'm going to make it right back. That is not the approach that you should have for the person in charge of the finances.
No.
Because it can be reckless in the sense of like, no, I can always go out and go get it. Like, what you mean? We good.
Yeah.
Whereas the treasurer at her high school. So like I'm sitting here thinking because I'm the head of the household, I need to be in charge.
Student council.
But I'm just saying, student council. Come on now. Come on now. They don't just appoint you for no reason.
No, you're right. You're right.
But like she still has. But when I looked at like I'm looking over at me and I have my approach. I look over her. She's got all of the tabs on her binder color coded. She's got every like rental
spreadsheet.
She's got Excel spreadsheets.
I still have rental leases from 2000
from 20 years ago. Like Judge Judy.
10.
Judge Judy said Judge Judy said keep the receipts.
Keep the receipts.
So I say that to say she's the person that should have been in charge of the finances. So those were things that again we didn't have it all figured out in the beginning. But I had to relinquish control of what I felt like things had to be because of maybe how I saw my dad do it or my granddad or things like that, and be like, what's best for our relationship and marriage, but also business. And so that was a shift that was on the relationship side and the business to where she is in charge. Like that's an area that she leads. And that's been a healthy shift for like, it has been nice. And I felt like I had a weight lifted off me, but I was carrying this weight thinking I had to. And it was like, oof, please take it.
Take
Please. She doesn't tell me like, oh, it's not extreme where we see some people like, oh, your wife tells you the allowance or how much you have to spend. It's not any of those types of vibes, but it's like, hey, it's best.
And also I think, especially in our partnership, right, with men, it's a lot of ego, right? You just heard a little bit of it. It's a lot of ego. And so it is a careful balance. I have found that how I talk to him too is also very important. The tone that I use is very important because I don't want to ever make him feel like I'm talking to him like a parent and he's a child, or I'm talking down to him and, saying, oh, well, here's your allowance. Never. I fully believe he still leads our household 100%. This is just an area of the household that I lead in. And from the beginning, when we first started, we had our separate accounts and we had our joint account that all of our bills would come out of. Then it turned into, okay, well, we're just going to merge everything together and everything's going to come out of the account. Then it turned into, well, okay, now we have these credit cards and we have these other payments, right? That we also need to look at. And then also we need to look at our strategic plan, right? So what does it look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when we start our family? What does that look like? We have to save for that. It's very expensive to do that. It's very expensive for a home. These things are very expensive. So how do we do this in a way that is still allowing us to live our life, but is making us push towards our goal of what we want to do? And then also being able to be very transparent of, hey, we need to have a spending hold this month because a lot has been going out. We need to just hold and just learning how to talk to your spouse and having those sit down conversations. Like we have a financial planning meeting, I would say a minimum of once a quarter, but with CoupleyFit, it's a little bit longer because we have two. So one for the household, one for the business. So we know and understand exactly where we are, where we need to go. These are our goals for the month. This is where we're going to be going in the next 3, 5, 10 years. And just being very strategic on that, but also knowing that financial literacy is not something that a lot of us have been taught, and we're learning as we go, and you're going to make those mistakes, and that it's okay to make mistakes. And having the abundance mindset.
Exactly.
Where's your Schitt's Creek? Well,
a lot of it is.
Yes, it is. It is. But just knowing and really understanding how to talk to your spouse about finances, and we're on the same team. We're on the same team. We're on the same page. I'm not trying to, come at you like you're a little child or anything like that. We're on the same team.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I just love that you guys have created just such a strong partnership doing this and building your business. We are going to segue into being BIPOC creators in Arizona. Being creators in Arizona is definitely a unique experience. Yes. What has your experience being BIPOC creators out here in Arizona? And also, do you feel like being a creator out here, and I just feel like this is a conversation in general, especially being a Black creator, that you have to work 10 times harder. Has that been any pressure for you guys, being creators and building your business out here and even having an online presence?
So I want to address, you mentioned something about the working 10 times harder. And that was something I used to remember my parents used to always even tell me when I was young. You can't just, good isn't good enough. You got to be exceptional. You got to be exceptional to be able to get the opportunity, because you may not know somebody in the room. You may not have the right complexion for a connection.
I like that one.
And if you don't, what do? You've got to be able to outperform somebody else that may know the person that's the decision maker. Right. And so I just wanted to call that out, because a lot of times if you're in a new space, especially if you're a minority, especially if you're, like you said, BIPOC, and you're trying to figure it out, right? Just from the sheer numbers, Black people make up 13%. So we're 1 out of 10. So if you're in Arizona, if you're in spaces that are not necessarily as diverse, you're maybe less than 1 out of 10. There may be less than 13%. So if you're working with a brand or looking to try to get into influencing, you may wonder if there's a space for me. Is there an opportunity? And I think the answer is yes, there is. But you have to know that you're worthy. You have to stay confident. You have to be willing. One thing that we always pride ourselves in from sport and just life is we'll never be outworked.
Never.
It's effort.
Ever.
So sometimes it's just effort, right? Because I'm sure I'm willing to bet for both of you, there was someone else that was launching a cosmetic line or launching some type of skincare line. There was somebody that's also launching their page or doing foodie stuff, or same with us. There's been many people, we have family members try to launch health and wellness couples business when they saw us do it. So I just say that to say it's, just keeping it real. But, quick, it's not around anymore, but.
Y'all, he's petty. He's petty. He's a petty patty. I swear.
Just a little petty.
Just a little petty. Just a little petty.
Yes. On a scale of 0 to 50 cent, I'm like a 5.
50 cent. Unmatched pettiness.
My goodness.
But you mentioned this actually earlier in the car, where we feel like in Arizona, it can be a little bit of a blue ocean type of scenario where, yes, you are a Black creator in these spaces. We have been in the spaces where we are the only Black creators, which we're looking around and thinking to ourselves, oh, so-and-so should be here, so-and-so should be here, so-and-so. But it is a little bit of that, only one, but one at this time. And it is something to do. I feel like we have to work harder. Absolutely. With no question. And then that's not even going into the pay. And when we're talking about being compensated for your value add, the amount of times that you have to really advocate for yourself, you have to come with the data, you have to come with even more, as we know, just to be able to get what your counterparts are getting. But I do feel like now that we are having more Black folks that are coming out to Arizona, it's getting better.
It is.
It used to be really rough for a very long time, but it's getting better. It's getting better.
It is getting better.
People used to think when we was in Arizona, when I say we, Black folks, people used to ask me, are y'all in witness protection?
Yeah, are you in what's that? Because
Did something happen? Why did y'all move to Arizona?
That is so funny.
Whereas now it's like a destination. There's been Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl, now it's lit. Now everyone wants to come out here.
We had it was like Mace and Cameron were on their podcast, and we're like, "What's the spot that like is underrated, man? Arizona. Y'all ain't been up in Scottsdale."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh boy,
Here we go. Trying to make us the next LA.
Exactly.
it.
I feel like it with the prices."
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely grown, which is amazing because I feel like even for myself being a creator out here, seeing the opportunities and just seeing more people of color in the space. Because I mean, I've known you guys for several years now, and I remember it was just like us and maybe one person sprinkled in, one or two others sprinkled in.
Come on now, I had somebody ask, "Are you familiar with the Negro nod?" And they were like, "What?" It's like the nod that you give. You don't know if we cousins.
You know, of course.
Come on now, do they know that?
Do they know that? Does the other person know that?
Because when I look and I nod and the brother don't give me the nod back, I'm like
huh? But that is a little bit of an Arizona thing. That's a whole other.
If you know, you know. You know.
Yeah.
But we acknowledge each other because it's so rare that you may not always see someone else in the spaces, whether it's a corporate environment, influencing all of those experiences. And I do want to call out too, if you are a influencer, BIPOC looking to get into the space, also bring your professionalism.
Yes.
Even if you have a lot of followers, even if you have reach, you'd be shocked and surprised how many people take it for granted, come in like they're a celebrity. And it's even celebrities, you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Are they great to work with?
Yep.
Right? Are they somebody that's
100%.
respectful to the staff?
Yes.
Do you treat the janitor like the CEO?
CEO.
Or do you come in and you ordering people around, give me this, and a lot of people do that, but again,
We're taking advantage. Yeah.
taking advantage. But then what happens maybe when your content's not hitting as hard or it's not as engaging? Now you're maybe not getting invited to those events because people are like, "Ooh, I really didn't actually like them."
Yep.
Yeah,
and
a lot of
I'm sure-
entitlement. Yeah,
Yes.
I've seen
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I've seen it.
We always say it's a know, like, trust.
Yes.
If people know you, they like you, they trust you, you're going to get so many more opportunities. But the underutilized, though, is being kind.
Oh my gosh.
I can't tell you the amount of opportunities we've had simply by just being nice and being kind.
Totally respectful.
And just being respectful, like you said, bringing
Saying
the
thank you.
professionalism. What's your business
Yes.
acumen when you're coming, right? Saying thank you, making sure, again, we worked in food and beverage for 15 years combined.
Yes.
So we know what it's like on the other side when you're demanding and you're talking to us like we're less than.
Yeah.
So we never, ever, ever treat anybody like that. And I think that when you have been treated like that before, you are very hyper aware of that.
Yeah.
And you're making sure that you go above and beyond in those spaces.
Absolutely.
And keeping your word. Keeping
is
your
big.
word.
That's
and
huge.
just so you know how rare that
Your word is
and,
everything.
you know,
Reputation is everything.
And I get a chance on the work side to work on both sides because we also work with a lot of influencers and talent. And I'm blown away sometimes by the lack of professionalism. It's just, sometimes
Like,
I'll talk,
you'll
but
never
it's-
hear from me again.
But I'm talking about like sometimes no show for a paid opportunity.
Wow.
Yeah.
No show.
Wow.
And then you're following up like, hey,
Yeah.
we're supposed to have you here. Hey, you're supposed to, and may not respond.
Yeah.
So it just
So
make sure that you put your best foot forward because and there is opportunity out here too because like you said, that blue ocean, because there's that like, oh, are there a lot of Black people? Are there a lot of and the reality is people do want that energy. They do want that excitement.
course.
You see why the videos
culture.
it's the culture.
the culture.
Right? You see when the Black rodeo, we started seeing creators and people going to the Black rodeo, all of a sudden people like, I didn't realize there was this many Black people in Arizona. What?
We're all over. It's just spread out.
Yes,
But there's so much, and I always like to say too, it's out there if you're looking for it because you have the Arizona Informant newspaper that's been around decades, ran by a Black family, amazing folks. You also have other organizations. I even think of like First Tee for golf, where like
Black sports professionals.
Arizona, there's a lot of golf that happens. People are like, well, I don't know golf, right? And do Black people? Well, they have First Tee, which is a program that teaches the youth golf and gets them access.
I love that.
So there's a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned
Yeah.
Arizona Black
Opportunity.
sports professionals, where like a lot of people don't know this, but the chief people officer for the Arizona Cardinals is the president for the Arizona Black sports professionals.
Oh, wow.
We're members. Membership isn't like crazy expensive, but those are opportunities to network, to connect with other people that are in sports or in wellness. And you're doing things at, again, a Top Golf, at the Suns facility or at the Cardinals. And you're like, oh my gosh, these are other people that are like-minded, that are professional, that are executives, that may be creating content or in sport, but you start to be in the right networks and around the right folks in the region.
That's amazing.
Yes,
I really
it
love
is.
that. Yeah. I truly believe, reputation, how you present yourself
Yes,
is everything. And I even pride that for myself, just responding to businesses, brands as much as I can. I know it can get overwhelming to
course.
reach out, but I think that is so important. I know we have to wrap up soon. I think we just want to talk about your SWAN method.
Before we wrap up, we do want to talk a little bit about that. So explain the framework to us. I know it's sleep, water, activity, nutrition, and the two can do it philosophy.
Yes. So we created this when we first started doing our boot camps and custom meal plans. We even had a meal delivery service. So we were really trying to make a full health and wellness service for people to be able to come to. And
Really couples,
but more importantly, to meet you where you are. And so in 2017, 2018 is when we created SWAN. And we did that also because SWAN means transformation, number one, and number two, SWAN's made for life. So that was just some things behind.
I like that.
Yeah, so that was really cute. So then for sleep, water, activity, nutrition, these are 4 foundational pillars you're already doing every day. It's just focusing and honing in on each one of those categories and getting 1% better every day in each one of those. So if you slept 5 hours yesterday, try to sleep 6 tomorrow. If you had a glass of water, try to have 2 tomorrow. It's making it so it's digestible and it's easy for you to be able to continue to do, but more importantly, do it with a 2 can do it partner. So for us, we do it as a couple, but we always say it can be your best friend. Sometimes it's your dog scratching at the front door like, girl, I'm ready to go.
Let's go for that walk.
Let's go for that walk and holding you accountable. It's the accountability, the motivation, and connection. When you have somebody that's on this journey with you, and that can ultimately help you swan on your journey.
I love that.
And it's all about generational health and
Yeah.
longevity together for couples. And so I love what you said there on the SWAN. And a lot of times people talk about the grind, but they don't talk about the fact that sleep is how your body rejuvenates and heals.
Oh my goodness.
Recovers.
Yes.
Right. And if we don't sleep enough, it can take 10 plus years off your life by not getting enough rest.
Correct.
Water, 90% of our blood is made up of water. And so when we talk about dehydration, right, people drinking sweet tea and all of everything, pop, everything but water.
Yep.
And then, or like, man, it's Arizona. Why did I pass out? I'm dehydrated. I've got a headache. And it's like, well, if we had
Brain
a little
fog.
bit more water, it makes a difference. And then for activity too, it doesn't have to be working out. And that's why we say activity, because it can be parking further and walking. It can be taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
Yeah.
We just talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday we were talking about that. Yeah.
And we literally call it one SWAN change.
I love that.
Yes.
So, and we love too, because it's something that everybody can do, whether it's grandma, it's multi-generational.
Exactly.
And then we also have our SWAN application as well. So it's an app, it's SMS based. So we have couples that are able to be a part of the CoupleyFit, inner circle, we call it, but you get the SWAN SMS. It's a check-in that you get at 6 p.m. based on how you got your SWAN in. And it takes like 20 seconds to fill out.
Okay.
But you're able to, how did you get your sleep, water, activity, nutrition for the day?
Okay.
And it's color coded for you. So you can see if I'm in the far right, I'm actually hitting my daily recommended intake to not get sick.
Oh, I
If
love
I'm in the middle, I'm getting closer, but I've got that opportunity tomorrow. Or if I'm in the far left, it's like, ooh, how was my day as well as a prompt you can put in where it's like, man, stressed out, traveling. That's why I didn't have any sleep or water. But then we can also make adjustments for the next day.
That's amazing. This is a jam-packed episode. I'm like, I wish we need a part 2 with you guys. I feel like I could talk to you guys all day. Because I feel like we had so much we wanted to touch on in this hour.
Yeah. We gotta talk more about that SWAN method.
Yeah,
too.
we
I
love
really
that.
Like that. Yeah.
So to close this out, what's next for you both? Is there anything you guys are working on upcoming?
Yes. So right now we are really making our website a couples longevity hub right now.
Okay.
So we're going to have downloads for you that are going to be very easy for you and your partner to do. But then we're also going to be really focusing on women and women's health, because women make 90% of health decisions for their families. And so we want to be able to really focus on women. So whether you're becoming that woman that you want to be and you're looking to be in that relationship, or you are, or if you're already a leader in your space and you want to be able to move forward, we're going to be able to have those digital downloads for you. We're going to be launching our inner circle, like Kurt mentioned, where we're going to have kind of monthly check-ins. We're going to be having, those frequently asked questions. We'll be able to go over those. You'll get access to the SWAN app. So we're going to really be building around that. And then we're always, building on social media with our content and making sure that we're showing you easy and digestible ways to feel better together. That's a part of our tagline. And we're just going to keep growing our ecosystem that we have and keep building our community, focusing on women's health, couples, and longevity.
That's amazing.
Yes,
That's
is.
amazing.
And I'll just add that also, in addition to that, the speaking engagements, we were really grateful to be able to do the workshop with the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit. But there's
awesome.
even more of those types of opportunities, because we're a benefit corporation. We don't want there to be any barriers to people getting healthier and feeling better and living longer. And so we want to be able to
information.
spread accessibility, access, and continue to spread that as well with SWAN.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
And I love that everything that you guys are doing is doable. The SWAN method is doable. If you're busy like myself, I love that app that I can just punch in what I did for today and kind of see where I'm at. Like, okay, I can do better tomorrow, or I'm right on target.
Judge free. It's a
And
judge free
we always
zone.
say judge free zone.
Love that.
Always, always.
That's amazing.
All right. Well, if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who's on their fitness journey or just into fitness in general, business or relationship journey.
And one last thing, where can people find you?
Yes, so you can find us on all social media platforms at CoupleyFit, CoupleyFit, and visit our website, www.coupleyfit.com.
Love that. Awesome. Yes, you guys, make sure to follow them on their socials and tap into everything that they're building. Yes. And to wrap this up, and as always, keep thriving loudly. Yeah. Woo, bye, guys.